Hey everyone, welcome back to our another one-on-one live session. Hi, I'm Sakhi Chaudhary from Team Shakti. जैसा कि आप सब जानते ही हैं, शक्ति इज़ एन इनिशिएटिव टू स्प्रेड पॉजिटिविटी थ्रू वीडियोस, लाइव सेशंस एंड कोर्स. सो आज के हमारे इस लाइव सेशन की स्पेशल गेस्ट है अरिजीत भट्टाचार्य. ही इज़ एन अवार्ड विनिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर, globally acclaimed speaker on entrepreneurship, motivation and technology. Today he will be here with us to share his journey, experiences and spread positivity. So before we start our live session, I would really appreciate अगर आप हमें सपोर्ट करेंगे, अगर आप हमें लाइक करेंगे, शेयर करेंगे, फॉलो करेंगे ऑन आवर सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स. अगर आप हमें सपोर्ट करेंगे तभी वी विल बी एबल टू अचीव व्हाट वी वांट, दैट इज टू स्प्रेड पॉजिटिविटी ऑल अराउंड अस. सो प्लीज़ गाइज हमें सपोर्ट कीजिएगा, हमें लाइक कीजिएगा और हमें वीडियोस बना के भेजिएगा. जैसा कि आपको पता ही है, ये वीडियो में आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. आप कोई गाना गा सकते हैं, कोई स्टोरी बोल सकते हैं, कोई पोएम शेयर कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी जो भी आपको करते वक्त अच्छा लगता है उसकी वीडियो शूट करके हमें भेजिए. वो वीडियो की कोई टाइम लिमिट नहीं है. आप 30 सेकेंड्स की वीडियो बना सकते हैं, 50 सेकेंड्स की वीडियो बना सकते हैं, 1 मिनट की वीडियो बना सकते हैं. सो ऐसे वीडियोज़ बना के हमें भेजिए एंड हेल्प अस टू स्प्रेड पॉजिटिविटी. सो लेट्स वेलकम आवर गेस्ट अरिजीत भट्टाचार्य. Hello sir.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am fine sir. How are you?
All good, all good.
Thank you so much sir for accepting our live invitation for our live session. And
My
I'm really
pleasure.
looking forward for this start.
Sure.
सर जैसा कि आप जानते हैं हमारा जो ये प्लेटफॉर्म है इज ऑल अबाउट स्प्रेडिंग पॉजिटिविटी. So why don't you share one of your positive experience?
See, for me, life is always positive, so there is nothing negative. It all depends on the perspective, how you look at the situation. So, from my small understanding, whatever I have learned so far, um, if I'm talking something positive, that can probably become negative to someone. So, help me to understand what do you mean by positive and what do you mean by negative part.
Sir, positivity, anything as you mentioned, it's all about the perspective. जिसको कुछ पॉजिटिव फील होता है, इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट कि किसी और को भी हाफ फुल है और हाफ खाली है. इट्स ऑल अबाउट द पर्सपेक्टिव. So,
Right.
positivity does comes from within, as you mentioned. So, yeah.
हाँ, ये तो जेनरिक आंसर हो गया, लेकिन आपके हिसाब से पॉजिटिव किसको कहते हैं?
मेरे हिसाब से when you feel like okay, you feel from inside okay, जो भी हो रहा है मेरे साथ है, like because negativity होती है लाइफ में, चाहे आप उसको नजरअंदाज करो, बट फिर भी
Don't skip to the negative part. Talk. What do you mean by positive?
Yeah, I am coming to that. So negativity होती है, but you have to see the positivity. So whenever something happens negative with me, so I always try to look on the positive aspect of my life, because although कुछ भी बुरा भी हो रहा है, तो but बहुत कुछ अच्छा भी हो रहा है. So I always try to shift on that. So that's what I do to stay positive.
No, I didn't get my answer. So what do you mean by positivity? That's again a generic one.
Positivity means, just to be happy and just to stay strong.
Okay, I'll give you a live example. I'll give you a
you.
live example. A lion is outside, okay, and it's hungry, and it probably killed a deer, and it's eating it, right? And it gives a immense pleasure that the lion is actually used to be hungry. Now he's eating a deer, a live probably animal who is actually died. How do you define it? Positive or negative?
It is positive when if you consider lion's part, because obviously he's eating his food, but it's negative for the deer because he just died, and for his family.
So आसान शब्दों में, there is nothing called positive, nothing called negative, right? It's life. So you can't just say that I'm spreading positivity. You can say that probably I'm be in the flow of life. So in life, whatever I have learned so far in my 40 years of my own life line, I don't define anything which is positive. If I am probably happy by doing something, it may happen that somebody is not very feeling cozy and good. And he may say that this is not good actually because probably this guy is making money out of probably from my own pocket. So if I'm making money, that money is coming from someone else's pocket. So someone is actually probably losing that part of that particular money part. तो उसको उसको आप क्या बोलोगे, पॉजिटिव या नेगेटिव?
उसके हिसाब से नेगेटिव.
सो अभी आप बताओ अभी आप बताओ लाइफ में आप सो आई एम नॉट सपोज टू टेक योर इंटरव्यू, यू आर सपोज टू टेक माय इंटरव्यू. ओके राइट, बट अभी आप खुद बताओ हम लोग पॉजिटिविटी फैला रहे हैं या नेगेटिविटी फैला रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं?
We are spreading positivity. मतलब it's not, we are just talking about your experience, and if people who can get inspired by you, then they are getting inspired.
सुपर. मुझे फिर एक आंसर दो आप. हम लोग हमेशा ये चिल्लाते क्यों रहते हैं कि लाइट की तरफ चलते हैं, उजाला करते हैं, उजाले में चलते हैं, बिकॉज लाइट मीन्स ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव थिंग्स एंड इफ इट इज डार्कनेस मीन्स समथिंग बैड. व्हाई?
Well, I feel that darkness has always been, symbolized as being negative, because raat,
Why?
andhera.
Why? Who defined it that andhera is negative? We human?
Yeah.
Why? Because we can't see in dark. Because we escaped the real part, which is called life. And we forgot how to actually see through in darkness. And we took an advantage, which we call as probably torchlight or probably your mobile light, so that we can see it. And then we say, if there is a light, it means it's positive. If I can't see something, that means that's negative. So in entire world, if you look at the entire animals or probably the plants, they don't cry for your light. They rather, for a dog or for a cat or for some wild animal, which you or me defining as a wild animal, for them, light is negative.
Yeah.
Can I give you a live example?
Please, sir.
Sure. So you have seen probably the urbanization. You have seen probably we are making a statement as a human that चलो ठीक है, गांव में चलते हैं, उसको सुंदर बनाते हैं, गांव को स्मार्ट गांव बनाते हैं. जरूरत क्या है यार? What's the point? गांव को गांव रहने दो ना. अभी
I think due to some technical issues, sir का network issue के कारण sir left. We will join him soon.
सॉरी, आई एम बैक. देखा वो गांव के बारे में बोलने लगा और नेटवर्क फेल हो गया.
वैसे
हाँ, तो ये डिजिटल इंडिया का हरकत है. डिजिटल इंडिया बनाओ और लोगों का डेटा लो, लूट के पैसा बनाओ. पॉजिटिव है या नेगेटिव है?
सर जो कमा रहे उनके लिए पॉजिटिव है,
और हम लोग जो डेटा दे रहे हैं उनके लिए क्या है?
नेगेटिव है.
Pointless. Anyway, let me not make fun of probably your live session, but yeah, I'll probably give you a kind of real perspective of life, and probably I'll give you a bit of my own life learning. So I'm not sure how you introduced myself to the audience. Let me reintroduce myself. So I run India's one of the oldest game development and technology company called Virtual Infocom. And of course, Virtual Infocom is Bengal's first game development studio, which I started when I was 17 years old in 1998, when of course Instagram was not there, of course Google was not there, of course dial-up connection was there, and we used to have a lot of fun with the fields with probably naked feet. We used to play football and cricket. And probably when I was in school, a thought came in my mind that if I really want to change my India, which I call till date as my own Bharat, I really need to start something which is completely disruptive. Because if I'm starting something which is probably not there in the market, it can generate a complete different line of job, complete different genre of experience. So it actually started when I was in class 6 standard. So regarding my other background, I can actually read, write, and speak Sanskrit like fluently like anything. I'm not sure if I'm an extincted version in your modern world or not, but yeah, that's how the propaganda was, that I'll be translating all those kind of epic and mythological values which we used to have and converting them into a storytelling method. And while I was doing that, I was creating my own superhero-based comics, which is mainly on Indianized superheroes in my school days. And I used to do that using a ballpoint pen on a diary. And of course, I have been thrown out from the class, which is my history classes. Okay. Now, you may call that negative, but for me, it was positive, because when I was outside of the class, I was kneel down and I was thinking all those kind of positive things, like how I can create more superheroes, how villains can come. Probably the teacher becomes my villain on that time. And probably the other students who are actually encouraging me to draw while I was doing the kneel down part and all. That was positive for me. Anyway, so I made in my life approximately 54 different superheroes, wherein it used to be more on comics structure. I used to write the dialogue. It was full-fledged comics. If it is not an Instagram Live, I would have shown you those kind of structure. But it's there in Amazon. You can probably buy my books and all. Anyway, so when it was like class 11 standard, I was doing my usual drawing stuffs and all, and I saw a lot of artists who are so-called artist kind of stuff, not like me, okay, who have got long beard with, kacha paka वो बाल होता है ना, बिखरे हुए बाल वगैरह टाइप, है ना, they were doing massive drawing. हाँ, stereotype जैसे होते हैं, है ना, and they have been doing their own kind of stuff like usual still life drawing and all. And okay, let me be very honest, I have never ever learned drawing after probably my first teacher, who actually moved from Calcutta to Delhi. So I'm blessed that I have him in my life as my first and only teacher in arts. Narayan sir, this kudos goes to you, all respect goes to you. Okay, so I used to learn drawing from him, and he left me when I was probably in class 3 standard, okay? And since then I have never ever learned drawing, but I used to watch those artists. And one of those artists, he said that, you know what, we are happy, we are artists, we are not making money, but we are happy. And I was thinking in my mind, why this fellow is saying this? Like, he's happy, he's artist, he's creative, he's, having his own Shanti Niketani bag, okay? And then all the brushes, and he's saying that he's a colorful guy, and he's saying, I'm happy because I'm not making money. I thought, okay, then there is a question in my mind that why can't artists make money? Number one. Another question was, why don't we have our own Indianized superhero from our epic and mythologies? What is the real value of all those kind of sloka? What is the real value of Bhagavad Gita? What was the real meaning, inner meaning of Mahabharata? While thinking all this kind of crazy thought, and of course thinking that I'll be doing something for the motherland, I started my own life with 49 rupees in my pocket, with lot of different comics, with lot of arts, lot of coding, which I was doing in my own way. And of course, when I registered my organization, it was just like that. I just went to the government office, said that I need to start a company, and they said, what for? I said, I want to start something which is called gaming. I need a trade license. And the person who was looking at me, probably he thought that he is watching someone from maybe Pluto. This person doesn't exist in his world. Gaming company, what the hell is that? So I was trying to convince him what kind of license I need. He said, buddy, you can have a IT license. Okay, that's what I can offer you. Government doesn't
Yeah.
have something called game development or
Living
something
like
related to that. I said, okay, whatever you can give me, let me start. चलो ठीक है, license तो मिल गया, अब करे तो क्या करे? From my understanding on that time, of course, 17 years old, lot of passion. I used to be slim like this, didn't have all these kind of, knowledge and thought process. I thought probably if I can code, if I can create some cool game, if I can create some kind of creative stuff, it is called business. Okay, let me tell you, let me be very honest with you. On that time, entrepreneurship or entrepreneur was never heard of, at least from my perspective. Okay. So when I started, people, I think I should say, around me, they used to say that, you know what, this fellow can't do anything in his life. That's the reason he started his venture. Oh, I forgot to mention, I actually left BE and I joined economics, statistics, and mathematics as a combination. Economics was my honors. So a person who is leaving BE, joining complete different arts was my, was not my genre. I was a science student. Leaving BE, engineering, and joining something which is different, definitely he is a crazy guy. Okay. चलो ठीक है, मान लिया हम crazy है, ठीक है. Now, I was actually focused enough to at least create a product of our own, which can probably tell the world that we Bharatiya people, we are not with snakes and flute. We are not the people wherein you just come here, take the picture of slums, and show the world that this is India. No, this is not India. So that was my perspective. But क्या होता है? I think you always do the mix and mode, Hindi and English, right? That's what I saw on your other videos.
Yeah.
Can I stick to English? Is it fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay. So I was thinking that, okay, fine. I have got only 49 rupees and then a lot of passion. What I can do? I don't have money. How can I sustain? While thinking on that, somebody said that, you know what, why don't you try the film industry? Why don't you talk to the film directors? Because you created so many superheroes, so many characters, probably they can take it and probably they can understand your gaming concept. Chalo, okay, fine. So I started going to the Tollywood industry. I started visiting a lot of so-called studios in Calcutta and so many number of directors, okay? And when I was talking with them, I was trying to make them convinced that this is the kind of superhero concept and this is the kind of game that I'm looking for. I don't need to become a film hero, not chance. I don't want a job role. I want to probably disrupt your film industry with my VFX, with the marketing strategy of games. And I failed like anything. Okay, it was my failure from my perspective that I couldn't sell myself in front of all these film directors. But somehow, some wise person whose name is Sandeep Ray, he was talking with me and he said that, Arijit, can you give me a small demo what you are talking about? And we were discussing among each other, creating, of course, a science fiction 3D animated game. So I came back home and I was thinking that with the computer that I have, which is like Katara, how I can create a 3D game which is asking for. So what I did, I created a 30 seconds, very small video, which actually took me around, I think 2.5 months to make. Give him a ring and then said that I'm ready. Can I come? He said, yeah, I remember your concept. I remember you. So please come. Let's have a talk. We had a chat and he actually encouraged me and said that, Arijit, the problem is if you're coming with a business mind, you need to understand how we work as a filmmaker. So he tried to make me understand how film industry works. So I learned my small bit of lesson over there. And I understood that probably this is not my time. I don't have money. And these filmmakers, they are looking for people who have got money in their pocket. Don't get worried about your number of live people. I'm totally okay if you and me are talking. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So now I came back home and I thought that probably this is not my time. This is not my right time to communicate and connect with these filmmakers. Probably I'm too early for the market. Probably the market is not there. Probably I'm not a good seller. So let me learn this. Let me understand how to become sellable and probably create an example first and then go back to them. So what I did, I converted the entire business model of mine. I started an academy and I started teaching people. The funniest part is I started teaching BTech people and BE people. Okay. And I was teaching them programming. And I joined as a freelancer to one of the finest training school in India. I really don't know to name them at the moment. Joined them as a faculty over there, as a visiting faculty, to teach more and more students. And within, I think, 2.5 years, I understood the entire ball game of how this training ecosystem works. Believe me or not, I started with one student. And that one student within 2.5 months became approximate 50 to 55. And I became a little bit of viral because you are not there on that time. So nobody actually did live with me. So I became viral without Instagram. So people came, they started learning a lot of coding, and I started teaching, of course, animation. I started teaching the game development process, even though the challenge was I was not sure that if I can make my own kind of game or not. And I learned something which is really beautiful. If I have to start a company, I need a team. So what I did, I started taking our own students as my own employee in the initial days. And we started making a very simple game which is sellable. And while doing that, I used to travel in local trains. And I'm not sure about your background, but I'm coming from a usual middle class family. My father, he's a corporate guy. Yeah. So my mom, she's a public prosecutor. Mom never wanted me to become an entrepreneur. She wanted me to become a lawyer. My father, he wanted me to become a footballer or probably a player. I actually probably I failed their dream that I didn't do both of that. But instead of that, I started my own journey. So when I was traveling in local train, and I used to be encouraged by my father, and he used to say me that, you know what, your white shirt is going to become gray. So make sure that you don't have a gray shirt when you are entering to an office. I learned another lesson. So I need to carry a shoe and a shirt in my backpack so that if I'm entering to some office for some business talk, I need to look sharp, clean, and sober.
Presentable.
Right. Now you call it presentable, I call it in a different way. Anyway, now we actually used to talk a lot of business houses in Calcutta, mainly in Dalhousie area, and I used to pick up a lot of small orders. In those days, computer assembling was a challenge for a lot of companies, and creating small software for them like accounts management, HR management was a challenge for them. And we started picking up all those small orders. Forget about the money. We are totally passionate about how we can give a great experience to our consumers. That journey started. And while doing that journey, I used to carry machines in my shoulder. I used to walk probably, I don't know, maybe 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers sometimes, so that I can save money. And eventually learned that this is not going to happen. If I'm doing that, probably I'm losing my own energy, because when I'm coming back home and working with my team, the energy level is going down. So I was looking for best possible people whom I can handshake with. And somehow, by God grace, by universe blessings, I've got one person who actually encouraged me. I'll cut my story very short. Okay, who encouraged me to travel to Sundarbans because he used to stay there, and we decided together that we will be starting an institute in a place called Namkhana, which is in Sundarban itself. On those days, it was 20 paisa to cross that river called Hatania Doania. And I got a news that these 10 paisa and 20 paisa is going to end very soon. So I used to carry those paisas and used to, give it to those places. And when we started that academy, the number of students, of course, initially was less. Eventually, we started getting a lot of popularity. I used to travel there. 4:30 a.m. I used to leave my home, and I used to be there at around 2:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon time. Used to have my own lunch and directly go to the institute, started teaching. In that area, I used to be called as Master Moshai, which is, of course, a Bengali form of teacher. And believe me or not, I used to get a lot of respect rather than money. And I was probably traveling for that reason. It was not the money, it was probably the respect which was driving me to travel that long and coming back on Sundays, taking all those pain to come back. Don't forget, I was doing my graduation in this period. Okay. So while doing
You did all
graduation,
this while you were in graduate.
of course, I was not graduate that time. So I was doing my graduation, I was doing the business, I was traveling to Namkhana, coming back, I was creating the product. So that was my lifestyle each and every day without any hesitation, without asking any question, without complaining anyone. And when the product was ready, I went back to that Chandni Chowk area, and believe me or not, because of all this machine assembling experience, now I know at least each and every corner, each and every place wherein I can understand what kind of partner I need to commercialize that game. I actually went to a CD distributor, and we made a deal with each other. I said, hey, you know what? I've got a new game which is not there in the market. I'm going to play in your computer. If you like it, let's talk after that. He started playing. He really loved it. It's not like. And like him, a lot of other people, they actually stand in the queue. And I was having my own fun. That, okay, great. Meaning the MVP of that game is successful, right?
Yeah.
So the guy said that from where you got this? I said, now let me break the sweet part of it. This is our own production. And I want you to market it, and we can go for a 50-50 split. We'll be doing the update, we'll be creating it, and probably you can make your own money. He immediately said, yes, I know you in person. It's a trustworthy face, so of course, no questions. Believe me or not, probably people will get a shock if they actually hear my video like this. We never had any kind of commercial agreement, like any kind of court paper or any kind of bond signed. It was all on trust basis. And I said, okay, fine, this is my CD, you market it. He started doing it, we made money together. And while we are making that money, I started creating another game. I started investing in creating our own website. So our website launched probably in 2001, virtualinfocom.com. It was kind of your black and white TV kind of design, because of course it was early HTML days. But somehow I can now tell the world that I have got a website, I have got a company, I have got a team, I have got a successful product, and we are making money. We have an institute with so many number of students. And of course, I'm a graduate now. So I joined a master degree after that, because that was my that was the wish of my parents. So I joined MCA after that, Master in Computer Application. While doing that, I did, I think, approximately 10 different certifications, which is global certification from Cisco, Java, etc. Okay, and those certifications actually didn't help me for business, but I was doing it. I don't know why. Probably somebody said that this guy don't have proper qualification. That became a challenge. And I love challenges. So if you tell me that I don't have something, I'll probably do that exactly. Okay, but now in a different way. Anyway, I was doing all those kind of activities, and I was thinking that is it my right market? Is India my right market? Can I do some kind of disruption? that thought process was going on, and I was making money. I was increasing the institute. We went for a path of giving our own franchisee, open up an office in Salt Lake, started recruiting more and more people. Rest became kind of history. So we became partner of a lot of MNCs. For an example, we started making game for Apple, Google, Moga, LG, Samsung, all those kind of known platforms. We became partner with Intel as a software development partner. We started making games and application for Ultrabook on those days. Okay, it was like early research and development days. Maybe next time, if you wish, I can show you all those devices, which probably till date Kolkata never ever have seen. But we had that because we became their partner. So they used to give us a lot of hardware, wherein we used to do R&D and all. We became stable. But while doing all this kind of activity, what's your good name? I forgot your good name. Shakshi? Shakshi,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. While doing all these kind of activities, I didn't forget that someone said artists don't make money. It was actually haunting in my mind. 10 years back, some artist made a statement, artists don't make money, and that's how they are happy. So when I made money, I went back to all those kind of communities, local villages, and tried to understand if I can disrupt this market. Shakshi, gaming, now people are talking about gaming, okay? But when I started, it was never heard of. 2008 was the era where probably India was experiencing a lot of gaming companies coming up. And I was thinking about disrupting the entire industry in a complete different way. And I had a thought that somebody said that you don't have money, that's why film industry can't collaborate with you. You remember that part, right?
Yeah.
Now I went back to the film industry, exact Hollywood industry, and said that I'm going to produce something. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for market. I want to recruit you guys. Okay. And they said that, oh my God, okay. I mean, we got a new मुर्गा, you know, इसको काटने में अच्छा लगेगा, मतलब producer आया है market में, है ना?
Yeah.
My entire attire now changed. I have got a specs. I became a little bit bulky, and my dress was completely changed. So they forgot this was probably the kid who actually came in front of them around 10, 12 years back.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah. So when I started working with them, I actually didn't produce any kind of movie. What I did, I started recruiting fresh models, fresh actors to make 3D character for our games. It was another story altogether, Shakshi. When I was talking to models, I was actually throwing them a small party, probably in a cafe. And of course, I'm blessed that we had Barista and CCD on that time. And we had the pleasure to, talk to each other. In Calcutta, in Park Street, we had another beautiful place, of course, a breakfast joint. We used to meet there. I used to talk to all these models, fresh ones, newcomers. And they used to think that, come on, what we need to do? This is not a garment shoot. This is not something on magazine one. This guy is talking technology, which they don't understand. So it was another challenge. But somehow, one little girl, I call her as my own sister, of course. She gave me a call all of a sudden and said that it's in Bengali, but I'll try to translate that in English. Elder brother, you know what? I really love the idea of yours. I play games, and I would love to become a game model into your game. Her name is Srijla Guho, and it was probably her earlier days when she said that I'm going to become a game model. So she was Calcutta's first 3D character game model into our game. It was another challenge now. There was no studio which can actually give us a VFX standard game shooting. So we hired multiple number of photographers, approximately 2 to 3 photographers, to take 360-degree picture inside a normal, ordinary studio. We came back to our own, office, translated all those pictures into our own patented technology. But it was our own patented technology. I forgot to mention that we started making our own software, whether It is, you call it as a plugin, or you call it as our own software. We started making that so that our in-house production speed becomes really, really high. So we made the first character and we started making the game. And I was thinking that, can we make this game in a different way? Can I bring something more cool stuff? Game was not released. Can I do something which is from, again, an epic story, but in your opinion, a negative character, but let us convert that negative story in a different storytelling way. So we made, probably it was India's first RPG game called Ashwatthama the Immortal. And I traveled to southern part of India to learn and understand Kalaripayattu. Okay. And Kalaripayattu. Kalari is a fighting martial art style. It's world's one of the oldest martial art fighting style. From where Shaolin people actually learned how to do the martial arts. Okay, you call it Taekwondo, you call whatever it is. Okay, and yeah, so I came back and then I taught all those kind of styles to our employees, our teammates, and slowly started grabbing the opportunity to create India's first RPG in a complete different structure. I make a mind that Katya, wherein Srijla is a character, the lead character, we're going to release it as a second game. First game will be a storyline of Ashwatthama, which will be connected with Katya. So once the user play the game, at the mid of the game, Katya game will start. So eventually they need to play Katya to understand the game part, and then again come back to Ashwatthama to play the rest of the part. So it's a kind of marketing strategy for us. We released the game, first one, Ashwatthama the Immortal. Of course, it became a little bit of popular. And then we released Katya slowly, eventually. I'm not going to take a lot of your time and your audience. So eventually we became a little bit of popular, stable. And we recruited till date approximately 275 plus actor and actress till date from Mumbai, from Chennai, from Bangalore, from Calcutta, from Ukraine, a lot of various parts of the world. And we created game titles like Shaktiman the Battle, Shaktiman the Game. Of course, we are blessed that Mr. Mukesh Khanna became our game character in Shaktiman game. We recruited so many celebrities, you won't imagine. We have Jeet, we have Shubhasri, we had Nusrat. I mean, I really don't want to name all these names, but somehow I'm blessed that they actually understood the concept. They understood that, okay, fine, gaming is much more bigger business than movies. I'm so sorry, till date, probably in Bengal, people don't know that, but maybe you can ask them to Google. So gaming is one of the probably larger market combining music and movie industry. If you combine both of the revenue, we are much more bigger than that. Okay, so of course we made something which is yeah, so-called like kind of history, at least for Bengal, at least for India. And coming back to the other part of the story, while doing all these kind of activities, I started investing into companies. The only solo reason initially was nobody actually mentored me, guided me, or nobody actually thought that this guy needs money, so we should help him with money. So initially that was my thought process. I started helping startups by giving whatever small and big I have from my pocket so that they can sustain and they can run their own venture. And eventually, when you are growing, people will come and people will actually join your journey of your life. So that happened. So I have been invited by a number of incubators. For an example, I'm a part of IIM Calcutta Innovation Park. I'm a part of your IIT Kharagpur. I'm a part of IIDF, which is Russia's biggest venture capital fund. I mean, of course, in US. I mean, I have got now approximately 95 different countries business network, wherein in 47 countries, I'm either acting as an advisor into either a corporate bank or probably a corporate company or to the ministry. Okay. So those things, of course, eventually taught me something which is called life. That's why probably I was pulling your leg initially, because till date, whatever I have learned, it's all about journey. It's not about positive, not about negative. So if you really want to be positive or probably be motivated, learn how to become demotivated first. If you don't understand what is sorrow, you won't able to understand or cherish happiness. And if you are thinking that you are happy, please understand there is someone who is unhappy because of you, because we are smiling. And it's nature. If we are smiling, somebody is crying. And that's how the nature works. Okay? So it is our duty, if we are smiling, we should give the smile back to the community. Open for your question and answer.
So, firstly, I would like to say that it's a very inspiring journey. For a boy of 17 years old, starting with 49 rupees, and how far you have reached in your life is incredible.
Thank
When
you.
I heard about you, I really wanted you to be a part of our live session. To talk to you, to get your intel, and it's great because you actually taught me something about that it's not about positivity and negativity, it's about the journey, and I actually learned something good. So that's very nice of you, sir.
Thank you. And I would love to probably say something to your audience. Being mad is good. When you are struggling in your struggling days, and if somebody is telling you that you are mad, you're crazy, it's awesome. You know what's the full form of mad?
What is the wisdom of man?
Okay. Moderate, accurate, and determined. Okay. If somebody is calling someone mad, it's awesome. And you know how I define entrepreneurship? Okay, let me break the myth. Everyone is not an entrepreneur. Okay. If somebody doing a business, probably he's a very good businessman. An entrepreneur is someone whose business model is completely unique than others. Completely unique. That fellow is innovative, or rather, he is an innovator himself or herself, and his entire team works as an organization, as a collaborative project, and they are disrupting the market. If at least these basics are there, we call them as an entrepreneur. A trader is not an entrepreneur. A trader is someone who is doing the trading. But we have a tendency to call everyone an entrepreneur, which probably is not that very cool. We need trader. You know why? If you don't have trader in between, you cannot reach to the end market. Some people say that, sir, I have got an amazing idea. I'm going to wipe out all these middle people in between the farmers and the market, and they will get direct access to the market. It doesn't happen like this. Farmers don't have money in their pocket till date yet in India, right? So you need these people who are buying bulk from these farmers, and they are reselling it to your market because they are paying the fees of all those kind of trucks that is there. And this is India, man. You need to understand. If you're traveling, you can't escape all those kind of money bribing part. You have to go through that. Accept करो इसको. ये चिल्लाने से फायदा नहीं है. Social media में चिल्लाने से कोई फायदा ही नहीं होगा. Can you change? You can't. So why shouting? No point. इससे अच्छा है ना, you create a model which can be sustainable. I'll give you one of my another live example. How long you usually do the live? Is it half an hour, 1 hour? That I need to understand. Because if you give me mic, I usually keep talking.
It's a 1 hour live session, but
okay.
You can keep talking.
Okay, so I think I have got sweet 15 minutes left for you. Okay. I'll tell you something which probably changed the way we did the market for the communities. I actually forgot to mention the part which is the way we are giving back to the world or giving back to the communities. Listen, I'm not Gautam Buddha. Okay, I'm not someone who is probably here to say that with shaving all his head and say that I'm a monk and I'm sitting maybe under a tree and वहाँ से मुझे बोधी मिला. I'm not that. I'm a pure entrepreneur who understand that if you don't make money, you cannot help others. If you can't be powerful, then you cannot actually throw the power. That's what I understand. So when I was traveling in Rajasthan around, I really forgot the year, probably it was 7 years back approximately, okay, 2021. So probably more than that, 7-8 years back. I was opening up a lot of small franchise in that Rajasthan area, and I was in my cozy car, of course, AC was on, and it was very chilling, cold night. And I was traveling, while traveling, I have a tendency of working in my laptop. Of course, that thing was happening. A car stopped in a red signal, and from right hand side, I heard someone is crying. A baby is crying like loud. So I looked through my mirror and I saw that a woman, she's like a half mad one, uh, trying to give comfort to her baby. It's about, I think, 2 years old or something like that, maybe less than that. I couldn't actually make it out that time. It was shouting because of the cold. And in the places like Churu, it's really, really cold in Rajasthan at night. Okay.
At night, huh?
Yes, really cold. And what she did, it was like give me a shock. Now, let me mention something. In that time, I was in probably I was the face of the media. Everywhere I was there. I mean, believe me or not, if you Google me, you will see all those press news.
Yeah, okay.
So I was like, probably I was thinking of about myself that I'm probably the next Steve Jobs of India. Okay. And when I was looking through my that cozy car, I saw that the woman, she just opened her sari, wrapped the baby. She became literally naked and tried to give a comfort zone by hugging the baby. Car started, and I started crying. I was thinking that what the hell I'm doing? I mean, with all those kind of name, fame, money, I can't help these people. This was not the reason I started my venture. This was not the purpose of my life. I became probably different guy now. I became probably a little bit of a money minded or probably name fame minded. Okay. On that particular night, I decided that I'll be skipping all such kind of so-called media glory. I don't need that. This is probably for live mannequin, with due respect to all the other people. Okay, and I'll be probably work very closely with the community where it is needed, where people are looking for some kind of hand holding. They don't want to break their backbone. They don't need Viksha. They need a hand holding, a market connect. So of course, on that time, I went back to all those poorest poor villages in different parts of India, where people dare to go, people dare to enter because of so many reasons. I really don't want to name them. But yeah, I was talking to those village people and I found that they are skilled. So we can actually give them training on probably something which is cool. We started giving training on creating handcrafted jewelries, dresses, and we launched India's first cosplay portal called cosplayseller.com, through which we started selling all these kind of items to the entire world. And then we integrated all these items and elements into China so that people can practically make money. And you know what I did? We never ever made money from that initiative. Whatever we used to earn, we used to give 80 to 80% back, 85% back to these village people. They used to earn 20 rupees per day basis. Imagine, 600 rupees per month family income. That was the income of every family on an average. After uplifting them, they started making approximately 300 to 350 rupees per day basis, which was a huge change for them. Their kids started going to school. Their women, they got a respect. The men who used to say that they used to beat the woman, they became a little bit of stable. क्योंकि काम नहीं करेगा तो वाइफ तो झाड़ू मार के एकदम निकाल देगा उनको अभी, ठीक है? वाइफ के पास अभी पैसा आ चुका है. So it's you call it woman empowerment or what? I don't really care. But yeah, these women, they showed us the real Durga. Okay. And they made sure that their kids will go to the schools. And I'm blessed that we did that. And all these villages, they became a self-sustaining village now. And we expanded that horizon into a couple of other parts of Asia. I don't know why I'm sharing this, because I never shared that into any kind of media till date yet. We don't need any focus, to be very honest. We don't care, I mean, if we are getting that or not. But yeah, the reason I'm sharing probably because probably it's the right time to share about all these heroes. So I'm not the hero, probably I'm the catalyst of all these people who are doing massive, fabulous work. So coming back to your point about, again, your positive and negative. If on that time, I was not escaping the route of all these so-called media news and others, probably this wouldn't happen. So it was probably in your mind, अरिजीत सर मीडिया से निकल गए, इनका तो अभी न्यूज निकलना वहां से आप सर थोड़ा हट गए. But from my perspective, I was more direct towards the people. I was happy in my mind because I'm working with all these people who are in need, right? Now, coming back to your first question, which you asked me, positive, negative, and the reason I said life is a journey. Entrepreneurship is always about riding a tiger. When you start the journey, you can't stop. If you stop, the tiger will eat you. If you don't feed the tiger, it is again going to eat you. It's not going to run. So as an entrepreneur, if it's a starting point, it's a serious decision for anyone, whether he's going to start his journey or not. Okay? Die is a metaphor. It's not about realistic die. But to be very honest, if you can't run your venture, it might happen. It will eventually become dormant. And as an entrepreneur, as a passionate person, probably people call me thought leader or angel investor, VC fund founder. So I forgot to mention, I founded, I think, multiple number of companies nowadays. I have got a setup in Australia. Of course, 2 companies I run over there, invested in quite a number of companies in US, in Malaysia, in China. I started a VC fund in, of course, in Asia. Doing all these activities is actually giving me a mental pleasure, a vibration, which is making a statement that, okay, if I'm doing this, there will be a group of people who will be unhappy. There will be a group of people who will be happy. I'll tell you why. If we as a fund, we say no to any startup, they feel that, yaar, ye log bahut kharoos hai, yaar, ye log humko na bol diye. Right? And if you're saying yes to someone, they will feel, oh, wow, great. You know what? These guys are cool. Like, I got the fund. But an honest request to your media friends, because I saw a lot of your
Can't do it. I due to some network issues, so I got disconnected, but we will join in pretty soon.
Hey, Shakshi, I'm really sorry about my network. I'm really sorry.
No, sir.
Okay, so where was I? I forgot really because of network. I was talking about.
You were saying about that. No offense to something that you saw on our page. Something you were saying about.
No, not your page. I'm talking more probably about something which probably help your audience. I'm not sure if that's the case.
Yes.
I'm not sure how many of your audience are maybe the speakers or past speakers or existing speakers are actually started their own journey, in the sense their own entrepreneurial journey or maybe the business journey. A lot of startups from Calcutta, they are actually looking for funding whenever they start their own startup. Starting your venture is not about getting funded. and getting funded doesn't mean that you got success. Success is completely different. At least from my own dictionary, if you are giving smile to someone's face, I call it as a successful person. If you can't do that, whatever money you have made, or whatever big house that you have built, or whatever costly car that you have, it doesn't make any sense if you are not making others smile. Now, to go to that path, to go towards that success, funding is a small part of it. If you have started your own startup, bootstrapping is one of the best way. Listen, guys, none of the investor will actually invest money because they love you. They love their own money. They want to multiply their money. Okay. If it's a VC fund, it is their duty to give back money to their investors. Right? If it's an angel syndicate needs to make money so that their personal investors can actually make money. Otherwise, those investors will leave. So you need to understand where you fall. Are you here to do a valuation? Yeah. Or you want to be in the limelight because startup is really cool, and probably you can have a three-piece suit with a tie, or maybe a bow with a costly watch, just like me, and then go to a party and have a wine and say that, I am a startup and I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, great, you are an entrepreneur. There are multiple number of entrepreneurs in the entire planet. Lot of them are doing couple of crazy stuff. You need to understand why they exist. Instead of running behind money, probably you can create a situation where people can make money. Then investor will be happily investing into your venture. It can be an idea stage, it can be your execution stage, it can be your post-revenue stage. It doesn't matter. You should have an investor on board when you feel that you can't do it alone. You need someone who has got money and network both. That's the best way you can have someone on board. Shakshi, I'm not sure with the network disturbance and others, if you are happy with my talk or not.
No, sir, it was amazing.
I can't see that you are smiling, so it gives me a shock that chalo maine kuch galti kar liya shayad.
You can't see me?
Now I can see you are smiling, but earlier it was like I was really fearful that कि ये लड़की बच्ची तो हंसी नहीं रहा है, क्या कर दिया मैंने? Okay, I'm joking. I was joking.
Yeah.
Okay, you have any question or what's the format? I really don't know your entire format. So if you have a question and answer round, we can go, or if it is okay to end, we can end.
So basically, I would have asked you about your journey and your challenges, but you already mentioned everything. It was like a TED talk, and it was amazing. I really learned a lot of things from you today about the journey part and the challenges you have faced in your life, and that how you have overcome them is amazing.
Thank you.
So I really, believe that this was an amazing session.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your experiences with us, and helping us to stay motivated, if I can say that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any last message that you want to say to our audience?
Sorry?
Any last message that you want to say to our audience?
Be crazy, be mad. That's wonderful. And if you feel that the entire world is saying that you are not doing right and you are doing something which is odd, you are wrong, and probably the theoretical people are saying that you will fail, I'm sure you're going to get the success. Okay.
So you did mention that someone called you, someone was like, when you went for the trade license, and then the person was like, is he from Pluto or something? So I've always seen that all the startup ideas, people tend to see that the ideas are crazy or that the person is crazy. But so the time is all.
Yeah. See, it's not about the startup idea, really speaking. If you are talking about people are talking crazy startup ideas, ideas are great, but until unless you execute them, it actually doesn't make any sense. A lot of